Hey, this is Justin Valletta from the band Valletta, and you're listening to the Vulgar Display of Podcast.
Hi, and welcome to the Vulgar Display of Podcast live from the Barn Studios. You got the Mox here, and I'm joined with the whole band, I think, right? Whole band of Valletta calling in from North Carolina.
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Nice to meet you guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. Got a new album coming out October 4th, Forcefield Records. The record is called Summer. This is your debut record. You guys have obviously been in other bands and been musicians for a long time now. But tell us a little bit specifically about this record.
This record is us coming together from so many different walks of life. It's been pretty wild. It's been a journey. We have been tearing down our own walls that have been challenging to tear down. You know how it is. You go through the metal scene for so long. You got a whole bunch of walls that you build up of like, these are the rules. This is what you got to do. And we're just trying to tear that shit down internally and share it with how we just feel it should be. So it's been super fun. Everybody is contributing in all sorts of different ways in the project. It's been, I don't even know. It's a hell of a journey. I'll tell you that.
I do want to shout out your publicist, Clawhammer PR. They actually sent us an advanced copy of the record, so we've been lucky enough to been jamming it and listening to it. When I gave it a spin, I reached back out to him and I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. Because
they sent it to
you. You're kind of cutting out a little bit. Yeah, we got advanced copy. If you guys want to hear it, I'll send it to you guys.
Oh, dude, I'm on it actually.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, I love all the different sounds on it, and I even think somebody, maybe one of the metal magazines, Metal Hammer, described it as Celtic Frost and a mix of that and the Bronx, which totally made sense to me because I do hear maybe some traditional metal in there, maybe some Blackened, influence there, but there's a whole lot of rock and roll on this record.
Yeah, well, if we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of this shit. Justin and I have played in black metal bands in the past, and so we have that influence coming into it. Will back here has been in all sorts of different bands, mostly metalcore territory and shit like that. No disrespect. And then played in other bands with Will. And he also loves fucking like shoegaze and like grunge and shit. It's really cool. So we have this weird combo of all sorts of influences coming in, and it's been interesting to put it all together.
Yeah, and I think that's really where the overlap of all of our collective influences is in like the fundamentals of rock and roll, right? So you hear like these different, kind of influences from other places, right? Whether it's black metal or whatever, but that our shared foundation is certainly rock and roll, and we consider this kind of to be a rock and roll project for sure.
I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm in my 40s, and it's easy to get caught up in the back in my day. Music used to be a certain way, right? And especially when you talk about rock and roll, and you hear a lot of people talking about rock and roll being dead. Is it dead, or do you just have to look other places for it? What do you guys think?
I was scrolling YouTube the other day, and I saw Brian Johnson from AC/DC reacting to Gene Simmons saying the same thing. Gene Simmons is going around telling everybody, and Kiss is one of maybe my favorite band of all time. They're the best band ever, anyway, indisputably. But the rock and roll is certainly not dead. Just come to a show. You'll see it for yourself. The underground is alive and well. We throw shows all the time down here in North Carolina. This is the first tour of this project. Come see us on tour and form your opinion that way. I think that it couldn't be further from the truth.
Let me put it this way.
It's more accessible than ever.
Let me put it this way too. It's like electronic music, which I have no beef with whatsoever. Do not get me wrong. I fucking blasted the Chemical Brothers all the way over here in the car as loud as I could do it. I was looking at people in other cars was being like, dum, 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 dum. I don't give a fuck. But anyway, point is that there's so much electronic music out there that I feel like that there's something so primal. We all know this. There's something so primal about rock and roll. And it's like there's such a lack of good rock and roll in today's time. So us trying to do what we're trying to do, we're just trying to bring back that organic, loud as fuck Marshall amps, Ampeg amps, fucking the hardest hitting drummer I've ever seen in my fucking life, all together to bring that power to the crowd. You know what I'm saying?
How much of it is an attitude, right? Because it is like you're saying, it's the Marshall amp and crank it to 11 if it goes that much, you know, for Spinal Tappy kind of shit. But some of it's in the playing, it's in the fingers, it's in the attitude, and a little bit of that swagger. Would you guys agree?
Confidence in the simple riff that you deliver to the crowd the right way. A little alcohol never hurt either. You know what I'm saying? Hey, no offense to anybody. Like, be sober if you have to be sober. Sorry.
The first song I ever learned how to play on guitar was "Walk" by Pantera, and we've all.
What's up?
You know, it's a bend, really, dun, 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 and it's just a bend. But we've heard covers of "Walk," but none of them sound like Dimebag playing "Walk," because it's in the hands of the player, right? And it's that confidence in the chord, in the riff, in the hands, really.
Yeah, and the imperfection, like the beauty is in imperfections, right? Or the humanity, at least.
Absolutely.
Yeah, simplicity is the key. Once you get down to that level, you start to see the intricate, like the twist that each band is putting on that simplicity, you know. But if you don't start from that point, then I don't know, you're not going to get that same result. So something about the most simple idea to achieve an effect or to achieve a goal is usually the best one. I think that's what we try to hone in on.
Yeah.
And let me ask you a quick question. You got
Please.
copperheads over there?
Copperheads in Missouri?
Yeah. You got copperheads?
Like snakes?
Hell yeah, snake.
Not a lot, but occasionally.
Got a couple though.
Yeah. I mean, not in here, I don't think, but
Poisonous. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's rock and roll. That's what it is. They might be few, but they are poisonous, and you better watch out.
Hey, how did this band come together?
Oh my God. Okay, so realistically, the story is this. Oh my God, how much time do you have? Played in this band called Lord Almighty out of Boston, and we're not dead. I shouldn't use past tense terms or anything like that. We'll see. Whatever. We talk. Maybe we'll play some shit again. Anyway, point is I was going to set up this tour, and I got told that this other band that we had played a show with in Raleigh, North Carolina, was going to show up for the tour. Well, we show up for the tour, and a different band showed up from Raleigh, North Carolina instead. And it happened to be Moynock, which is old Justin over here. So we became fast friends. It was super dope. I got hoodwinked, but it was dope as hell. They were a great band. They are a great band. I don't know if I said word. Anyway, they were a great band. And I decided to move down. And once I moved down here, me and Justin linked up, started jamming some riffs. Then we fucking Justin got Will drunk as fuck and convinced him.
Ready drunk.
Whatever.
I found a drunk ass Will Goodyear at a bar one night, and I said, "Hey man, you should come jam with us sometime." He agreed, and then in the morning was like, "What have I done? I don't know."
Yeah.
But then checked out some of the demos that we sent over, and showed up in the practice room, and it turned into a full blown project. And then we just recently got Cody on bass, and yeah, that's how we ended up here. It's been awesome.
A happy situation. It just came together.
You mentioned the tour before we came on air, at least I think. When are you guys going out on tour? How long are you going to be out? And what are some of the markets that you guys are hitting?
Like East Coast ish. It's going to be October 17th through November 2nd. And it's mostly the East Coast. We're going to be hitting as far west as we go. I think it's Chicago. But yeah, we're going through Tennessee. We're going through Chicago. We're maybe going to Michigan. Like the routing is still kind of being determined, but yeah, we're gonna shoot west to Chicago. We're gonna go up to Ohio. We're gonna then go from Ohio to like Vermont, Massachusetts, and come down through New York, and then just ride the East Coast back home.
What's the scene like there in North Carolina?
This is why I moved here. I'm gonna tell you that. It's like, oh my God, the amount of love. Like, okay, again, I came from Boston, moving down here. And like the Boston scene, I love them to death. They are great fucking people. But the Raleigh scene just has a little bit sprinkle more of love. They love all fucking things heavy. They love it so much. I am bewitched by the scene here.
Yeah. What I think is unique about at least what we have going on is really a couple of aspects. I think that one, we're lucky enough to have a dedicated metal club. A lot of venues are closing around the country. You know, St. Vitus just closed down like yesterday or the day before, or at least announced that they're not going to reopen. You know, we've seen a lot of closure of a lot of beloved places, or a lot of places that really kind of fostered really healthy extreme music scenes. And you know, we're lucky enough to have a dedicated you know, mid-size venue down here in Raleigh called Chapel of Bones. It rules for sure. The other thing that's kind of unique about the North Carolina scene that I think is that there's not like in a lot of major markets in Boston or New York or Philly to a certain extent, or some of these other places. You know, you're not going to catch a thrash band playing with a death metal band, playing with a black metal band, playing with. And down here, that's just not the case. You know, we'll have mixed bills all the time. I throw shows every once in a while. I just threw a show with, you know, Cody's other band. It's like a kind of like grungy, kind of like rock, shoegazy kind of project with like a stoner sludge band, and then like a hardcore band from Brooklyn headlined, right? And people come out. It's just they're more appreciative of the fact that there's a show going on at all than it is that it's like not every band on the bill is the same and abides by the same little rules, and they're in the same lane. And they have the same dress code and all that shit, right? We're all fans of all of it, right? And the underground exists because of the people that participate in it. So it's something that's I think we're really lucky to have, and I don't think that it's lost on anybody that comes out, you know.
I've been very vocal on this very podcast about mixed bills because I don't want to go hear the same sounding band 4 times in a row. I'm a metal fan. I like hardcore. I like death metal. I like black metal. I love Kiss. You know, not that they're going to be playing any kind of, you know, metal festival, but you get the idea. I like variety, and, you know, they say it's the spice of life, I guess, but I don't want to hear the same bands 4 times in a row.
It's like, dude, I mean, what are you trying to fucking dance the same dance the whole night? Or are you trying to fucking groove?
Yeah, I think our like this maybe goes back to like what we've all done in the past, but yeah, we've done a lot of different stuff. We've touched a lot of different genres. I think this tour coming up is a good example of us just, you know, whatever, like we'll play a hardcore show, we'll play some super gritty metal show. Hopefully our music, you know, work, like the people at those shows like understand what we're doing and enjoy it, but like we don't feel like there's any sort of barriers in terms of what shows we should be playing. We're leaning into all of our influences and all of our experience to get out around the country or the world. Shit, I don't know.
And Will, specifically you, I mean, you've been involved in a couple pretty popular bands at times, right? So played with Between the Buried and Me and Hopesfall. What experience that you have had with other bands do you bring to this one?
That's a super good question. I'm not exactly sure, but I hopefully what I've done in the past like helps us on the back end, you know, like in terms of like the business side of the band. And other than that, I'm not sure. I do contribute musically to what we're doing in maybe a way that the rest of the band isn't. Like, because Keenan writes a lot of the original material or the bones of what we're doing, and sometimes I'm adding things that maybe he's not comfortable with at first, but I think in the end we all agree. But so my influences are coming through in this band.
I can absolutely help with this question because it's like
He's so humble, right?
hey, he is, man, helping with music, fucking business sense and shit like that. But he's also a fucking phenomenal graphic artist. So all the artwork that you see that's coming out that we do is from this guy right here. And also, like he said, the influences of music that he's bringing to the table. Sure, it makes, I'm not going to lie, it like has absolutely what? Like this whole band has been an exercise in accepting what other people are bringing to the table, the ball that they're rolling forward just because they have skills. And it's like, when you learn to just accept that, you kind of create this unique sort of sound and adventure that we're on together because it's like, dude, like it's so easy to sit in your room, I think personally, just from things I've done in the past, is sit in your room, write some fucking black metal and be like, this is what it is, this is the true shit, and I fucking did it. And it's like I did it by myself, and that's what we were talking about before. And just allow new influences that make you uncomfortable come into the mix. I feel like the end result is so much fucking better.
Yeah. Otherwise, you might miss out on something that's really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I think the other thing that at least Will being in the band has done, because I mean, whether he'll tell you or not, I think that he was like certainly a pioneer in, the bands that he's played in, right? And like with Prayer for Cleansing and stuff, especially and early BT Bam and shit. It's especially down here in North Carolina where that the scene has historically been enormous and kind of like a mecca for a lot of fans of that type of music. It's opened a lot of doors for us, I think, in certain areas. Like, for instance, we're in the middle of booking a tour right now, and being able to call upon previous experience or say like, hey, like this is the catalog of all of our other bands. It's helped us kind of get our foot in the door and give us the opportunity to show what we got going on now instead of the kind of like what Keenan was talking about with all these self-imposed rules about things have to be a certain way or anything else. It's allowed us to get traction, I think.
I'll say this too. It seems like reception, like this is the first tour that I've ever booked I didn't.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'll say, I'm so sorry. This guy over here has done most of the work. I didn't mean to take that away.
You did.
But the first tour that we have booked, or a band that I've been in that's booked, where like the resounding reception from people has been so positive. And I just like, I'm so thankful for that. I think it's absolutely wonderful. It just was kind of unexpected a little bit because we're kind of letting go of a lot of things in this project that maybe we would hold too dear.
Yeah. And you don't know what's going to resonate with people either,
Yeah.
I'll follow up with like the response from fans of those bands about Valletta has been really positive, which is cool because it's not the same, it's very different, extremely different from Between the Buried and Me, Prayer for Cleansing, extremely different from Hopesfall. Like, I love those bands dearly, and I'm really happy that I've been a part of them. But I'm also extremely happy that people that like those bands are giving us a shot because it is different. But so far the reception's been really nice.
You mentioned the venue, Chapel of Bones. I know that's where you recorded your video. Tell us a little bit about that, the idea, where that came from, and how you ended up kind of constructing it.
Man, Ill Blood. I guess I'll kick it off and then we can pass it to Will over here. But Will knew this guy who is a fucking phenomenal videographer. And he kind of took the run with it. We gave him a pretty simple premise of kind of what we were looking for and the location, but he kind of fucking took it on.
Yeah, I mean, we started with a general idea for what we wanted the video to turn out like. It's all based on lyrics. The song itself is kind of about Keenan being extremely uncomfortable in certain, like public situations, but he has to be in order to do what we're doing. Like, he's got to get over that shit. And I think that's sort of like the underlying idea. But yeah, once we shared that with the director, Brett Skybel, shit just took off. So it ended up being a really awesome collaboration between us and our ideas, and him and his team was also offering ideas. So the end result is definitely like a composite of all of our ideas. But I think it gets the point across. Hopefully this dude looks super crazy, like he's going through the shit. And I think it came together so well that we were all like, well, damn, this is awesome. I mean,
it was surprising.
So.
Yeah, it was my first time working on anything like that.
Yeah.
And Brett is, it's the magic of the professionalism of these guys is taking our not shitty, but like our handwritten on a notebook idea and bringing it to life in a way that like is awesome and entertaining and all the rest of it. So it's the guys that work alongside Brett, or that he tapped and brought in were fantastic. I've never been really a part of anything like that. I've never personally appeared in a music video before. It's always been altars and incense and fucking whatever dead shit and stuff like that. But like it was a totally new experience for me, and I think that they made us feel super comfortable like on camera, and they had a wardrobe person and a prop person show up. It was awesome. It was
super fun.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it was a good exercise for us to like allow other people to like contribute and to like bring things forward and bring things to life, which is, I don't know, if you're like a creative minded person, that's not the easiest thing to do. But I think it was an excellent exercise in that for us. Like, yeah, we got an idea, but let's let this person that's better than us at this thing actually like help flesh out the idea. So yeah, I think that's what we did.
That's what I was going to ask, because when you create art, you can be so emotionally invested and attached to it. You really have to, I imagine, trust somebody to say, here's our art, here's our life and our passion, and add that collaborative effort and consideration into something like that. There has to be a lot of trust there, I imagine.
So let me tell you this, is that what you just described is the entirety of this band on every level, in every aspect. We are constantly uncomfortable with what is happening with the ball rolling forward, but because the ball is rolling forward, we celebrate that. And we're very happy to just be making progress. And I think that a lot of bands get really caught up in that struggle of like, there's so many opinions, so many choices that they feel like need to be the correct answer, that they don't even allow the ball to roll forward any longer. And that is exactly what we're trying to conquer with this band. And it's not for the world, that's not what I mean, but our own internal struggles with that exact same concept. It's not easy for anybody to just let go, but it has been so fucking freeing for us to just let go.
Who's this band for?
Us. It's so simple. It's like everybody's rolling that ball forward, and it's like it's just I feel like it's almost therapy to just let go and allow that ball to roll forward and celebrate that. It's like I don't even know. I don't even know how to answer.
I think you know what you're talking about. At least to me, I don't really speak for you, but it's one of those things where it's like there's so many decisions to make, and there's so much anxiety about it being perfect when it's done that you get paralyzed in the process.
Yeah.
And what's more important is that we're actually doing stuff, and we're going out and playing cool shows and releasing cool music. You know, a lot of the especially like the lyrical themes kind of run the gamut. There, it's everything from like storytelling to personal experience to the personal challenges. Like cultural observation. There's all kinds of lyrical themes. There's not really like a string that kind of connects everything, other than we want people to be on the journey with us.
This is something that I feel like okay, so I always describe it as when writing music is like getting a message from an alien. It's like there's somebody else who dictates to me what is correct and what the music is. And I'm passing a message that has no compromise on my personal feelings. Like, this is what it is. But at the same time, I have a message to deliver. And I want other people to feel the same emotion that I felt when I was conceiving the music in the first place. You know what I mean? So it's this three-party journey. I don't even know. But at the end of the day, with all of the things that we come up with together and all of the sound that we come up with together, it's for us.
Are you guys fans of the band Neurosis? Reason I bring it up is we just talked to Steve Von Till, and he mentioned something similar, is that he almost feels like a portal. The music comes in and comes through him rather than it coming from him. And
Yes.
The way he described it was the more he pushes back on it, the more difficult time he has creating. But the more open he is to it, the easier it is to create. And to me, that guy is very high on my list as far as his creativity and originality and all the things that he's been a part of. So when he said that, it kind of reminded me of what you're saying.
Dude, let me explain this. Like, literally, since I was fucking 10, 12 years old, I have felt like there was another thing, and I've been a portal for that exact thing. I understand exactly what he's saying. I'm just whatever. Maybe we're alien brothers. I got to give him a call.
I remember Neurosis was one of the first super heavy band shows that I saw when I was younger, and it just blew me away. Like their visual program, they were their first bands that I saw do projection shit and just black and white. Like, it was an immersive environment. That's definitely inspired me in certain all my projects, really, including this one. Thinking about music as a holistic experience. So yeah, the music is for us, but we're presenting it to an audience, and we want the audience to be immersed in this thing. So we're working on visual stuff. We're working on a lot of ways to actually form, put the package together, so an audience member can get lost in it and really just appreciate the experience in a live setting. But I guess that comes across in the record too, hopefully. But Neurosis has they had a huge impact on me, and they still do.
too.
And I think that's a good thing to bring up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Scariest, you know, I'm a Blackened fan myself. I loved all the death metal, all these scary bands. The scariest band I ever seen was Neurosis. And then the most intimidating. Like even when I were doing the interview, like I couldn't look him in the eye. I had to like look away.
Yeah, they were just like
Just like a sonic assault too. Like you're saying, a full immersive experience to where I didn't even feel like I was seeing people. It just felt like something else. Just yeah. I mean, I could sit here, we could talk Neurosis all day if you want, but and like fully sacrificial to just not giving a fuck. Just
Yeah.
just
Yes.
all art all the time. I don't care. I don't answer to anybody. I'm gonna start my own record label, you know.
That's the shit that we're trying to do with us is we're trying to conquer that. I don't give a fuck. This is for us. Whatever.
October 4th, Forcefield Records. The record is Summer, although we're releasing it in the fall.
Oh
Yeah, right.
Part of the duality.
Yeah, exactly. This is the Vulgar Display of Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys. We're really digging this record and looking forward to trying to catch you when you guys do get out on the road.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you
for having
so
us.
much.
Thanks very much, man.
Really appreciate it.